Rob and the Mysterious Cleaner. On the island of Sodor, the engine who has seen the most vital change would have to be the Diesel 199. When he first came to the railway, he caused lots of trouble and was sent away in disgrace. He later returned to help out with the summer workload. He had caused an accident at the docks, but saved Rosie from crashing into the water, and the factory truck that brought him to be a pump member of the railway. He was then renamed Rob, and has become one of the happiest engines. Rob's job is to go around the railway at night, clearing the lines of any loose wagons and repairing the track. He does this job really well, and the railway has had no mishaps. But one day, that was all done. The Diesel pulled up to Tidmouth shed to wait for Harry to deliver a goods train. He had to take it to Knapford station for Henry. Harry raced into the yard and zoomed past the turntable. He sat on the line waiting while his driver and fireman went over to the signal box to change the points, because his signalman had gone home. Fell asleep waiting for his driver and fireman to return, and Rob sat quietly by the side of the shed so not to wake his friends. Then after the corner of his eye, he thought he saw a cleaner standing by one of the warehouses. He blinked a few times and looked again. There was a cleaner standing by one old warehouse, looking actually at Harry's train. Walked casually up to the train and then disappeared behind the bottom of the tracks. He was now out of view from Rob, but then Rob heard a thudding noise coming from the train. He gasped. Why is he releasing the brakes on the train? He asked to himself, still startled by seeing the man in the flesh. He walked up to Harry's cab and climbed in. Someone walking around his cab. Who's there? He asked, but no one replied. Suddenly, Harry felt his helmet being taken off and his controls slowly being opened. What's happening? Harry slowly began to roll backwards. Rob could only be watching a horror as Harry rolled backwards down the line. He was caught by a broken section of track, which Rob should have replaced but had not had time to. He tumbled off the rails and crashed on his side. Luckily, the truck didn't follow him and stayed upright. He picked up the breakdown crane and set off to rescue Harry. In no time, Harry was back on the rails, and the breakdown crane was left on the siding. Then, Rob slowly pulled Harry and the train to Knapford station. Reached Knapford, Rob left the truck on the goods line, then set off to the works with Harry. Later that day, the next day, the factory controller called Rob to the shed. Rob, I heard what happened last night, and I am very disappointed what you didn't fix the track. Why? I'm sorry, sir. We didn't have time, but there was too much work on the main line. You should have fixed that truck first. It's an important line. You'll have to shunt trucks in the yards until I can figure out a suitable placement for not completing your job on time. As you wish, sir, sighed Rob. Rob told the other agent what happened last night. How extraordinary, said Rosie. Why do I think what? Why do you think you saw a cleaner? You couldn't have done all the cleaners left for him ages ago. Unless, said Duck, pausing drastically. Unless what? No, said Rob. Unless it was Don Ashford, he said. Who? said Harry. Don Ashford. He was a cleaner who worked on the road many years ago. It's a long story of what happened to him, and I'll be willing to tell you. The engines hushed as Duck began his story. In 1950 on Sodor, before any of the diesels and any of you other engines here were forward, the factory controller had this man called Don Ashford. He was the railway's best cleaner and always did a good job. I liked him especially, as did Percy, but he refused to clean diesel locomotives. It's unknown, said Duck, but it's probably because he didn't like the smell or the fumes emitted from diesels. I'm not being harsh to him, but the smell isn't necessarily the nicest thing in the world. Truthfully, I can't blame you, said Diesel, said Rob. What happened next? The diesel drivers consulted together and made a plan to prevent it. Late December, when it was burned to clean me, a diesel class 42 ran out of nowhere and ran him down in cold blood. He was crushed beneath the engine's wheels. I felt dreadfully shaken as the diesel biffed into me. The case was brought to the courts, and the driver of the diesel was arrested, and the locomotive was scrapped. I was waiting in that third yard with diesel, waiting for it to take a train ready. Suddenly, the air grew dramatically cold, and out of nowhere stepped a man. He walked up to Diesel's cab and climbed right in. Diesel was surprised. "What's he doing?" he asked. And he soon got his handbrake being taken off, and the control was opened. He slowly rolled forward along the line. "Help!" he wailed. But nobody could stop him, and he rolled right towards the main line. He rolled down the line and biffed into some oil tankers. The brakes on the tankers held easy back, and he finally came to a stop. There's no one knowing where he is. Some say that every few months or so, Don Ashwood can be seen again and causing Diesels to have a runaway. I finished the story, taking a deep breath, and he looked carefully at Rosie and Rob, who was staring at him. That has to be why I saw it. He was surprising he didn't do any more damage. I know I strode to the yard usually. It's not your fault, Snowy, and the packing trailer will probably give you, and you just need to prove how long. Yes, I will. And they will start with repairing that section of the line. Later that day, Rob repaired the line, and the packing trailer seemed to be very pleased, but still didn't. He should have done the work earlier, and said that Rob would be restricted to shunting work for a few days. Rob smiled regally and was pleased that he wasn't in bigger trouble. But he was still thinking about Don Ashwood and wondering what could be done to prevent any more accidents happening. Rob was shunting in the Netford yards when the alarm bell rang in the signal box, and a man ran up to him. "Daisy is off the line. Take the crane and rescue her." "Okay," said Rob. Took the crane and quickly raced away to save Daisy. Off the rails, as a set of trap points. The diesel engine had been resting on the platform and had suddenly moved forwards. Rob pulled the breakdown crane alongside, and then the workmen prepared to pull Daisy back onto the line. Prepared to pull Daisy back onto the rails. News soon travelled down the line about Daisy's accidents. Jack was convinced it was Don Ashwood was rescuing Daisy. News come down the line about the accident, and the engine was still not sure what to make of it. Duck was still stole. It was Don Ashwood. Rob decided enough was enough, and made a plan to speak with Don Ashwood. "You're either stupid or brave," said Arthur. "Or senile," said James. "Or completely out of your mind," said Henry. Rob ignored them and was being prepared to take a good trip. Rob collected his train. He was moving well, but he had a plan. As they started to move away, Rob began to hold back. "Come on, Rob," said Rabbit. "You're running fast." Rob, he was forcing his fuel for a small loop. So the train was on the line. Rob was getting slower and slower. Eventually, the driver and fireman had to admit defeat, and Rob was brought to a gentle stop. Only in a few minutes when Rob heard footsteps on the back. Rob rotated to the noise at his cab, and then whispered a quiet, "Hello, Don," and walked out the front. Rob smiled at him. He wasn't afraid. The man didn't say anything. Surprised he approached me. "This is no place for you to be. It's your Duke in the Barrel was done in 1950. The man, he appeared to be holding back tears. "Don't cry," said Rob. "Everything happened years ago is all in the past and tasted on the railways, and it's best you do too." Don gazed happily at Walked forwards towards Rob and appreciately shook his buffer. Then walked silently off the tracks. Rob's crew returned. How are we talking to the driver? Surely you don't believe in all this ash rubbish, do you? No, not at all, said Rob, standing still. Rob never told the that night. He kept himself in solitude and separated himself away from the story of Don Ashwood and the ghostly hauntings they listened to spirit along with the absence of the ghost, and the diggers all suddenly thought they were at safe running on the railway. Well, working on line, but Duck knew otherwise. He knew that these had taken away Don Ashwood, and now whenever Duck or Rob go through the yard, they always give a moment's silence for Don Ashwood, the ghostly cleaner.